Hey, welcome to Vike Report for Acme Dry Ice. Hey, Mark, I put together this kind of report. What I did was I recorded the video, the screen that we did with Dex Media or Thryv, whatever they call themselves now. It was kind of like a video conferencing call that we did, and so I just captured the video that goes kind of over what we discussed. The one problem is you could clearly hear me, but you couldn't barely hear Mark talk. The other Mark Hayes from Thryv. But I think you'll get a gist of what we were talking about, and you'll see the numbers as he posts the numbers from this video conferencing call. Pretty interesting. It'll show what you're spending, the coverage, the top 25 keywords. He's going to email me all the keywords, and we can take a look at that when we talk. But I wish we could have heard him a lot clearer, but you can't. But again, I think you'll get the gist of what we talked about, and I can recap it word for word when we talk in person. So let me just bring it up. And before we do, I just want to say that this podcast is being brought to you by Well, as you can imagine, everything is, down 40% or, 50% or whatever. And it's pretty much more of, we're doing like a yearly checkup, on all accounts. I don't know when the last time you guys did a thorough, note for note, analysis of what he has. And so we're pretty much looking at everything and trying to streamline and just make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. And if we're looking for oranges, we're getting oranges and not pears and all that kind of stuff. So just look at it as just a yearly checkup, like when you go to your doctor and, he looks you over. What is a conversion? So I'm clear. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And no emails, correct? And what's an email? Got it. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Before we go on, let me just finish because some of the concerns we have. Number one is he does not like the fact that his main phone number, 617, the 547-7300, gets switched to your tracking number. I don't like that. He doesn't like that. So we need to talk about that. As far as your or his campaign budget, the 3,800, that's per month, correct? Okay. And out of that budget, are you paying for the clicks that are happening with Google and Bing, or is he paying something on top of that? Okay, and out of that, he's somehow paying you to manage all of this, correct? Okay, okay. Do we know what that is? Does he know what that is, or? No, no, no. I totally understand that. Is there any way that you can maintain control as to who, after they click the ad, if they come back and do business with you, without the tracking number changing on the website, or does it have to happen that way? Okay. So no, I was just gonna. So if you were paying me to run, this type of a marketing campaign for you, and your main phone number changed to one of my phone numbers, you wouldn't have a problem with that? Okay. Okay. Wouldn't you be able? Okay. Well, wouldn't you be able to tell just by increased business, or? Okay, all right, okay. Just wanted to throw that out. Okay, continue with your, so explain the, what I'm looking at here, the conversions and all that. Go, continue, please. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's a long list. Do you do you have a breakdown of all the keywords that have been clicked, let's say last month or 3 months or whatever, that we can look at? Because I don't know if I have that on the report. Okay. And then before I lose this thought here, why is Bing, if I'm looking at it right, maybe not. Okay. Yeah. Pretty substantially. Okay. Can I get that? Uh, can you export that out as like a Excel or CSV or whatever when you have a chance? That'd be awesome. Okay. Okay. Can we go? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Can you go back to that previous list, the top 25? Yeah. So explain where we have a lot of what does ad name mean versus the keyword? Okay. And and this ad campaign is for both Acme Ice. Go ahead. Okay. Okay. And this is something you can. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Can you export this out as well? Okay. Can you export this out as well? Oh, oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. So your ad campaign is for both Acme Dry Ice and Acme Ice, correct? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. Well, I think what needs to happen is to separate Acme Ice and Acme Dry Ice because they're essentially two different businesses, if you will, or products. They're not. I know there's ice in both of them, but they're like totally different, products. So that's something we need to look at. Go ahead, keep going. Not yet. No, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not yet. I'm just, throwing some ideas. I need to, make sure Mark understands before, we decide, we do this or that and the other thing. So. Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, send it to him. Yet on some of your keywords, you have towns way outside of this area. I noticed. I saw Hyannis. I saw Drake it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. When you say we didn't have the budget to do that, what does that actually mean? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. No, that makes sense. Well, let me ask you this question. So again, I did notice and I'm just going to pick one of them. You had dry ice Hyannis or something like that. That shouldn't even be on there now, right? Because, or should it? I'm looking at all the keywords. On all the keywords, not. Okay. Okay. All right. In the area that you just showed. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. And was that was I was just gonna say, was that something you decided with Mark, or you just decided you that makes the most sense? Was it a Mark decision or your decision? Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, that makes total sense. Total sense. So someone in Concord is saying, "Hey, who sells dry ice in Boston?" Your ad is going to come up, even though they're in Concord. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Eastern time, right? Okay. And this was something that you and Mark discussed. Okay, just one. Yeah. And you. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mhm. Okay. Of all the people that you've converted to do something, um, you're not collecting any kind of email database or anything, are you? No. Not with his setup. Okay. All right. Okay. Eh, no, I think the last, so just to be clear, so that tracking number is something that we have to live with for right now, right? I mean, there's not much you can do, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. All right. So if you could export the total list of keywords and then any other list that would be important, I guess the ad name list would be good. And then any screenshots that you think, because I'm going to put together a presentation for Mark, and then he'll decide. I mean, he's not going to do anything right now. Let's just so you know. But we do want to take a look at everything in this and make sure that we're streamlined. So, Mark, that was pretty much the end of the presentation. Unfortunately, you couldn't hear him talk or barely, but essentially, uh, you're spending the 3,800 a month. He couldn't tell me how much of that goes to them and how much is actually being used to pay for the ads, which I find a little strange. The tracking number that changes on your website, that's something that they're not going to change or feel like it's important. The coverage, I don't know if you understood that map that showed the circle where if anyone in that circle types in who sells dry ice near me, you'll come up. But if they're outside that circle, you won't come up. The only way you come up, is if they say is there anyone in Boston or Cambridge that sells dry ice? Then you'll come up if you understand that. So in his example, if someone's in Concord, for what reason, one reason or another, if they're coming into Cambridge or Boston and they need dry ice, they might say who in Boston or Cambridge is selling dry ice, and you'll come up. But if they're in Concord and they say, I'm looking for a dry ice near me, you're not going to come up because their coverage isn't beyond that circle. So it doesn't make much sense to have keywords outside of that circle because you're not going to come up. Like anyone in the world who sells dry ice in Boston, you're going to come up because you're in that circle. But anything outside of that doesn't make much sense. So he's going to email me the total list. I'd like to see a list of the top 50. They could show the top 25, and I should have asked him this, but I'll email him to see if he can send me a report on the top 50. That way you can take a look at the top 50 keywords to see which ones are make sense to keep or not or whatever. So I hope this was helpful. I wish I could have found a way to make him a little louder so he could hear him, but the program that they were using, they didn't have a way to turn this into a like a podcast, if you will. So here you go. I hope it helps, and I'll email you this in like 2 seconds after I finish up. So have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.